I feel like a 28-year-old female, had more male friends, and it was easier to make male friends when I was single. Story 1. Even if they are not interested in the woman, which would be an obvious pitfall, they might stay away out of respect for her husband to avoid making him feel uncomfortable. Story 2. The answer is kind of obvious. Few married men are going to appreciate their wife's new male friend inviting her out at the weekend just to hang out. Marriage is a clear signal that you are not readily available, or at least it should be. Story 3. I'm not forming a close friendship with a woman in a relationship unless I meet her husband and we get along as well. It is out of respect. I do not want to be the friend the husband is concerned about. Story 4. Every married woman I have befriended has developed feelings. That is not a boast. That is simply how it happened. It is dangerous territory. Story 5. I promise you your straight male friends you talk to frequently wanted to have a romantic relationship with you, which became far less achievable the moment you were not single. Sincere respect to those friends. They respected the boundaries. Story 6. How are you that oblivious? What man wants his wife to have male friends? And what men want to be friends with a married woman? Story 7. 2 reasons. First, nearly all men cannot be friends with a woman because they hope to have a sexual relationship. Second, good men respect boundaries and do not want to be suspected of having sex with a married woman. A person in a relationship should never put themselves in a position where their loyalty is questioned. Having male, especially single, friends is automatically a suspect relationship. Story 8. Those male friends were likely just waiting to make their move. You would be better off befriending gay men. Story 9. Unless it is a mutual friend with your husband, from the surface level, no. Much can be said about it, and we have all heard the he is just a friend story from the husband's side. Even if I had no physical or romantic interest in you, the mere suggestion would be dangerous. Story 10. We'll start with the most obvious reason. Many spouses are uncomfortable with their partner having friendships with people of the opposite sex, especially if they themselves are not friends with that person. Additionally, if the man is single, spending time with a woman he gets along with can cause jealousy. An ideal mate is someone you get along with, a friend. Therefore, hanging out with a woman you are friends with is not ideal if she is married. Story 11. When you were single, they stayed around hoping to get a chance with you. Now that you are married, most, but not all, respect that and respect your husband enough to not be around you if they have any type of feelings for you. Story 12. A couple of men I know are identical twins. One married a blonde and the other married a brunette. Each wife regularly receives calls from friends about seeing their husbands with another woman. It was the brother with his wife. That is not the kind of drama I want in my life. Story 13. Because it is asking for trouble. Sooner or later, some real or imaginary drama will happen and things will go wrong in a big way. For example, I used to be friends with a woman who got married. It took her less than a year to start berating her husband publicly. More than a few times, she compared me to her husband in front of others. While I was not his friend, I was not his enemy either, and I protested. That caused major scenes and drama, ending in divorce. I will not stand being used as a prop or a weapon against another person, regardless of who they are. Story 14. Married women are a risk. It is very easy for a spouse to get jealous and for rumors to start. If there is a degree of attraction, all it takes is one drunk night, and next thing you know, your lives are ruined. Men subconsciously know when they are not wanted around by other men. Those who do not care about your husband are there just to pursue casual encounters, even if they say otherwise. I have many female friends, but once they are in a stable relationship, I back off. This does not mean I am not their friend, just that I respect their relationship. I would not want a single man texting my wife if I were married, so I do not text married women as a single man. Story 15. I would venture that most of those male friends were hoping to be intimate with you at some point, but once you are married, that is a boundary not to be crossed. Story 16. If a man is not interested in being friends with you as a married woman, then he was not intentional from the beginning. Story 17. I keep my female friend even if they are dating or married, as long as it does not trigger their partner. If I get any feeling I am causing issues, I leave. Some men cannot handle their partner having male friends outside of themselves. Story 18. What kind of question is that? You are married, so your partner is off limits. Well, it should be, but that does not necessarily mean it has to be. Is that why you are looking for male friends? Story 19. In general, men and women will not be interested in many of the same things. Common interests are often the way men make friends. Story 20. After reading all these comments, apparently I am the only man who is fine being friends with married women and not trying to have a romantic relationship with every female friend I have. Story 21. What kind of friendships are you expecting? Please define what you expect to do with them. I have no problem being work friends with married women, but I am not going to spend time with them outside of work. Story 22. Thinking the reason you had more male friends before married life is because each one of those friends also wanted to be with you in a sexual way, just saying, and they see their chances now diminished. Story 23. One of my best friends is a married woman. I am also married. There is nothing wrong with a friendship between a man and a woman. We both get to complain about things our partners are not interested in. Occasionally, we all get together for board games and other activities. It worked. It was fun. We enjoyed each other's company, both alone and as couples. Story 24. The only way it works is when you are friends with the husband too, and I do not need that kind of pressure. Story 25. Probably the biggest problem with having a female friend who is married is that you cannot have deep, meaningful spiritual conversations with her without it escalating to something it should not. I have found that the best friends are the ones with whom you can have deep, meaningful conversations about almost anything. Once you develop trust in that person, other feelings may start to develop. If you do not have this with your husband, then I hate to say it, but you probably married for the wrong reasons. I cannot imagine not being able to talk to the woman I vowed to spend the rest of my life with in the same way I would with my best friend. If she is not on my wavelength, then I chose wrong. Story 26. How do humans have electricity when people like this exist? The variation among humans is mind-blowing. Story 27. Or because you are married, working, and looking after kids, you are busy, making it difficult to properly maintain and grow that friendship, or the harsh reality is they wanted to be more than friends. Story 28. A married woman should not act as if she is still a sophomore in high school, where her life revolves around friends. Story 29. Let's look at it from a man's perspective. I am a male. I had a girlfriend, now ex, who had many male friends. She used to hang out with male friends, go for drinks, etc., but asked why it never bothered me. I said those male friends looked like they had never been near a woman in their life. Some were transitioning to a man anyway, and others were very frigid. She didn't like my answer, but when she kept asking me the same damn question, my answer in my head was, if they are going to cheat, they are going to cheat, and nothing I can do can stop that. My answer to her was because I trust you, but she asked the same question 50 times. The moral of the story is, get yourself some female friends as there is less chance of you cheating and less chance of making your partner insecure. I had an ex-girlfriend when I was 19 who was seeing a male friend who was just a friend, but having sexual relations behind my back. That was many years ago, but every woman I meet has some sort of male friends, so I just let them get on with it. If they cheat, they cheat. Men aren't interested in friendship because why make another man insecure while also just being friends and getting nowhere? This woman and I are friends right now, but we'll end it if either of us gets into a relationship with a woman or a man, so as not to mess things up for each other. Story 30. Partly, we are on guard for jealous husbands and do not want to be that person. A few of my best friends are married women. 2 of them my wife does not know but knows I am friends with. I like women. Story 31. A couple of things. Those male friends probably wanted to sleep with you. Men do not want to hear about how bad your husband is. They also do not want to give advice on your relationship. You also do not want to appear as if you are having an affair or even an emotional affair. There is a bit of a code you are breaching. Honestly, it is just a huge pain and a minefield to walk through. Story 32. And all of the potential problems that come with it. My female friends established their friendships before their marriages. I doubt that we would be friends otherwise. Story 33. Let's say you had 10 male friends and then got into a relationship. Let's say 1/3 of the men were at least partly interested in sleeping with you, and like user Barnorth said, they chose to respect the boundaries and not torture themselves by chasing something they should not try to have. Let's say another 2 of the men assumed your husband would have a problem with you hanging out with your male friends and do not know the guy. Another 2 simply do not like your boyfriend enough to want to be around him even indirectly. They would probably stay away from the potential drama entirely and not borrow trouble. For the last 3, it is very possible that the blocks of free time you used for hanging out with them are now blocks of time you spend with your boyfriend. Sustaining a friendship means hanging out and doing things together with some regularity. It is entirely possible that they just drop off the radar due to time constraints on your end. Basically, if you want to keep your male friends as friends after getting a boyfriend, it helps if they know your boyfriend and also get along with him well enough for all of you to hang out at once. Story 34. There are many obvious answers here. Many people were probably not your true friends and only saw you as a potential hookup or partner. Friendships are generally harder to maintain in a serious and committed marriage. When you invest in your marriage, you often do not have the time to maintain shallow friendships. Story 35. You are married now. The transition is typically for couples. Husbands and wives hang out with other husbands and wives. Then kids come along, and it turns into playdates and getting the children together. The idea should be no longer needing attention from the community because you have or will be starting a family. I found making friends with women was easier for me. Once I was married, that all went out the window. It is not personal. She just became the most important person, and I did not need or want other women interfering, friendship or not. I kept one female friend, but she was pretty far away and we only talked a few times a year. Focus on your husband and making couple friends. Story 36. Old guy chiming in. When a group is all single women and men in their late teens and early 20s, there is a certain excitement that is undeniable. Everyone is past the boys over here, girls over here stage of youth division, and the interactions offer exciting outside perspectives with new kinds of attention. It's great. Odds are good that at least 75% of the men in this group have some level of spontaneous desire for every woman in the group at some point. Maybe they act on it, maybe they don't, but it's part of the charge and excitement of the interactions. And yes, unacknowledged attraction is quietly great too. Once people start pairing up with long-term partners, either from outside the group or within, some of the dynamic shifts. The men still want to be around the women, but there are fewer one-on-one coffee trips, late-night talks, and road trips. The paired individuals have partners for this kind of interaction, and the unpartnered people can feel the difference. Marriages happen, and friend groups stay together in different combinations and degrees, but the intensity diminishes. The focus on each other's lives lessens, and the new long-term partners take up bandwidth. If the long-term partners are adults, they encourage the old friendships, provided they don't feel any of the old underlying tension or rudeness from the old friends. But things are different at this point for everyone. If the group stays in contact over the years through houses, children, school meetings, and sports teams, the underlying interest and desire soften into genuine warmth and fondness. The long-term partners lose any concerns they may have harbored, and solo time has the potential to come back. This time, however, the friendships are a lot more genuine. Story 37. If I stay at home and talk to my big, muscular, foolish best friend on Discord, I can have absolutely riveting conversations about all my favorite niche, socially awkward hobbies, the kind you would laugh at me for and call me a virgin for liking. Thus, I would prefer to do this in almost all circumstances over going to a party, except for one thing my big, muscular friend cannot provide. He does not have a vagina. I go to parties to meet women. Sometimes they have girls attached to them, so I have to woo the girl. To woo the girl, I need to listen to her vain, superficial talk about things that are way less interesting than what my big, muscular best friend talks about. But I need to sit through her uninteresting stories, pretending I care and faking an entire personality because she has a vagina. I like women, and I really want a woman for a relationship. Constantly. It never stops. So when I find out that your woman is not available, I do not care about your woman any longer. Your woman can go away. I don't want to be your friend because you don't know anything about Boba Fett, and you are incapable of holding a stimulating discussion about the Speed Force in Roman history. In summary, You are boring. If your husband were not currently with you, he wouldn't care about what you say either. Story 38. To be honest, I feel like it would be easier to be friends with a married woman. That way both parties, in theory at least, obviously some people are dishonest, know nothing is going to happen romantically, so they can just be friends. I know with my best friend's wife there is absolutely no romantic attraction or anything like that from me or her, but I think she is great. Story 39. These questions are always funny. I can be friends with a married woman, but what does that entail? Am I texting her? Are we hanging out? Am I attracted to her? Am I single while she is married? It just does not work like that. It absolutely makes sense that you had male friends when you were single. Any male friend is attracted to you and wants to be more than friends. It is that simple. I cannot believe girls still do not understand this. Now that you are married, no male friends are interested in that friendship, also known as chasing you around. Story 40. Oh, summer child. If your male friends disappeared when you got into a relationship, it means they were not true friends. They were quietly waiting for their turn. Joking aside, what is the first step toward dating a guy? Becoming friends with a guy. Your partner, and you two really, has no idea whether the man you are befriending has intentions or not. This is why most often your partner won't be okay with you having male friends. It is also why men won't befriend a woman in a relationship, because they don't want to face conflict with her partner. This next part is just me exploring a thought. This brings up a theory I've had for a long time. While my statement above explains why it is uncommon for people in a relationship to befriend the opposite sex, I actually believe that men and women, this applies to all gender preferences, but I am simplifying, can't ever really be just friends until there is a reason for them not to take things further. I believe that while every sexual encounter is a possibility, the only things stopping the relationship from becoming sexual are timing and mood. How many male friends has the original poster fooled around with? My guess is probably not zero, no judgment. So I do not think a relationship can be truly platonic without a solid reason why things cannot go any further. I have had female friends in the past. It was 99% platonic, but I would not, and sometimes did not, say no if they offered more on occasion. Then we went back to being friends. But can you imagine introducing your male friend to your husband? Oh, hey honey. This is Steve. We are just friends, honest, don't be so paranoid. Yes, we are going to a concert next week, just the two of us, and Steve works out a lot and is going through a difficult time in his life. Oh, and he used to sleep with me every time we got drunk when we were friends, but it's totally platonic. You can see why that sounds crazy for a guy to accept. Imagine the reverse situation if a man had a female friend and said those things to his wife about her. I know my partner would be upset. The funny thing is, as long as it has never been physical in the past, I actually think you can be friends with the opposite sex, but only really when you are in a relationship or there is some other concrete reason why sex is off the table. The reason it is not common is because it is impossible for a partner to know that this friend is not a threat. The really funny thing is that my partner is bisexual, so she could be sexually interested in anybody, literally any of her friends, and I just have to trust her. But I can totally see why men do not want to befriend a married woman. It is too risky. This is not a concrete rule, though, as there are exceptions. Humans are nothing if not unique. I myself have 3 female friends who are married. I met them through work, so it was not like we clicked and hit it off. We just worked together for a while, so for years I was just a colleague. Then I left that job, but we still go out for lunch, so now we are friends. End of story. Story 41. Because their husband is not as interested in your friendship and might crack a coconut on your skull, among other things. Story 42. I'm going to attempt to put a slightly less insulting spin on this to illustrate the point. Yes, it is true that a good number of the men who were friends with you had a sexual attraction towards you. It is just nature. Since you have entered a marriage, that adds a lot of complications to those feelings. Simply put, men do not typically enjoy stepping on other men's toes. Being friends with a woman without being friends with her partner as well is rare. Personally, I would find that quite suspect. It is also harder to create friendships when you are older. You have to find a hobby or a space you enjoy being in that other people are also involved in. In summary, you are unavailable. You are no longer in school, so it is harder to make friends in general. I cannot stress this enough. You are in a dedicated relationship. Whoever attempts to join that dynamic is inherently playing second fiddle to both of you. But most likely, you just need to get out there more to find friends. Story 43. No offense, but this is very naive for someone your age. Those were not genuine friends. They may also not feel safe befriending a married woman for multiple reasons. Story 44. In a perfect world, this would be fine. The thing is, in reality, this could lead to problems if you get too close. People have many insecurities. Story 45. One of my friends is a married woman, and two of my female friends plan to get married in the future. Story 46. It's like putting in effort and getting nothing in return. Sure, the man can sit back and put in as much effort as the woman. But then one of two things will happen. One, the woman will put in no effort and complain that men are not interested in friendship with married women. Or two, the married woman will be chasing the attention of other men, which I cannot imagine looks good for her. Story 47. I'm happy to be friends with a married woman if we have the same interests and vibe. I suspect most of the male friends you had when you were single were hoping to date you or at least have a physical relationship, which is a common but narrow interest. It sounds like some of your friends disappointed you once you entered a committed relationship. My condolences. Story 48. My closest friends are women. One is happily married. I find it easier to be friends with women due to a general lack of openness and emotional intelligence in men. I can only get so close with my male friends. They are usually comfortable talking about feelings and topics beyond small talk only if they are drunk, sadly. Story 49. Man, there are a bunch of losers in these comments. I am friends with plenty of married women. It does not change anything. I am also going to preemptively get ahead of some dumb response and say that being able to technically find someone sexually attractive does not mean you pursue it. Plenty of my friends are attractive people. It does not mean we should hook up or cannot be alone with each other. Life is more complicated than someone passing the "are they kind of cute" test. Thanks a bunch for sticking around till the end of the video. Remember to subscribe, and until next time, stay awesome and goodbye.